A circle full of dogs. We put in the work. This squad here was a bunch of crazy dogs.
Boom! What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Giants Rush, where we, and I always say we because we're a team here, talk Giants football, 52 weeks of the year. I like to say we're the podcast you love to hate. A lot of things to talk about. We got some housekeeping. After today's show is the fantasy football draft. So if you're playing Rush fantasy football, you know, lock in for your draft. Good luck. Grand prize winner, autographed jersey. So that is on the line. The bad news is we didn't have enough of you knuckleheads sign up when all you guys reserved seats, but you cheapskates never paid. So we booted all you non-paying people out, and we are live with one league of 14. We'll be hosted by Spartan Mike. So Shawnee B, he's a little out in the cold, so he has the right to be pissed off at you folks for not coming through. We'll talk a little bit about roster moves. We'll talk about predictions, right? A lot of predictions from the beat reporters. And, of course, we'll get into, like, who was signed, who was cut, Adoree Jackson, everything. Hey, we're here every Monday, 52 weeks of the year. Got a team of writers, got a team of analysts here. Former football players, we've got pro golfers, we got everybody on this team. So glad you guys are here. I see you guys piling in the room. We thanks for all the support you guys have sent our way. If you can, big ups for us. I see Jake, I see Bill. What's up, guys? Hey, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Helps us out a ton. If you guys can support the YouTube channel, that's where all our interviews are. That's where all our shows are. And what's up, Cold? Good to see you here. So let's get Shawnee in the room because he's hanging out in the back. We have no idea where Alex is. Just like last week, we had no idea where Spartan is. But the people who count are here. What's up, Bob?
What's up, Craig? It's been a while since it's just been you and I, so you know what that means, right?
Yeah, but they're the best shows because like we get to like two old football cronies get to talk football.
Yeah, and debate, and that's awesome. We got
and what do you call it? Challenging you to your slow old ass, and then you drop some like 4 or 5 speed on him, and his rebuttal was that he played club. I fell out of my chair. I rolled on the kitchen floor for like 10 minutes. I'm like, he said club football. I couldn't believe anybody would have the audacity to step up to the plate and say club football. I was like, man, that takes balls.
I know. I had to pull out the old VHS recruiting video, some small clips from my recruiting video back in the day, man.
Yeah, I don't have any of that. I do have some photos. Hey, let's get right into some football, right? Yeah. So we don't know where Alex is. That looks like we're flying solo. So thanks for hanging out. I see Bill. I see Spartan Mike. Look, Spartan Mike's not even hosting, and he's on time to this show, which is crazy. We see you, Daniel. Thanks for hanging out. Cole, what's up? I see a couple of you guys rolling in the room now. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're here every Monday at 8 p.m. Fantasy draft right after this. You guys are going to be stoked with the grand prize this year. Oh, and we're going to have Sean, I'm big into names, nicknames. Yep. I'm big into numbers. So whoever comes up with the best team name, we'll have a vote at the end of the year, and I'll give a sweet prize pack.
Nice.
For team name. Because guess what came in?
What came in, Craig? Oh, nice.
The new swag showed up at my house this week. I put a picture of it on Twitter. They're badass. I mean, they're badass.
Yeah, they are. I can't wait to get mine.
I got yours right here, dude. I'm just deciding which one to send you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you know which one to send.
I got like, look, I got so many. I got so many for all the this. This is my, I take care of my peeps, by the way.
You do.
So I got some new swag for the peeps. All right, Shawnee, let's talk about let's start off with some housekeeping.
All right.
The easy, simple stuff is roster stuff. So the Giants officially signed Josh Jacobs. What's wrong with me? Jacob Johnson. Sorry, there's too many Joshes in the news this week. So Jacob Johnson, fullback, has played in a couple good teams. A couple teams. He came to the Giants in preseason, made an impact right away, cut him, bring him back. Now he's officially signed. To open up that roster spot, they cut Boykin. Give me your opinion on these two moves.
Yeah, well, I like Johnson. I mean, he made an immediate impact in the preseason. You could see where he was blocking and how, like in the past, when we didn't have a fullback, runs would have been stopped for like -2 or 3 yards. And those same plays, the running back got 2 to 3 yards on the gain. So I like it. I love the fullback move. Cutting Boykin made sense. That shows me that Gunner is back. Being healthy was going to come down to one of those two guys. So not a big loss losing Boykin. So, but I'm all for the fullback, and he's been with Brasillo for his entire career, I believe. So, that's good. So now you have three guys.
I gotta tell you, Sean.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to find out where Bill lives, and we're gonna have to take Bill out for a steak dinner because my man, not only has he been a pleasure to have hang out with us on Mondays because he's been hanging around now for a good, 5 months. But my man shows up with cash every week. Like, it's really cool. I don't even, can I actually put this on the screen? I can.
Yeah.
It says, I need a Harnett hoodie signed by the whole Rush team. Not sure what the logistics will look like. You know what, dude? I'll try to make it happen. The issue is I can get easily, to Chris. As we know, he's in Jersey with me.
You can get me at the Cowboys game.
I can get Chris at I can get Sean at the Cowboys game, and with my daughter being in Michigan, I may be able to get Spartan Mike somewhere along the line. But I know Spartan does come to town for some games. The issue is trying to find Alex, who's not here, and we don't know why. We hope everything's okay with him, his family. I know he's been having nothing but internet problems, so those things could have sparked again. But yeah, we'll work on that, Bill, one way or another. We'll get that the Harnett hoodie signed by the team. That'll be fun.
Yeah. We need to find out where Bill works and see if his company will be our sponsor. I mean, he's so generous. Maybe his company will be our sponsor, right?
Yeah. We'd have to get whatever Bill does for a living, Bill. We're gonna have to talk to your boss or your investors and see if they want to sponsor us.
Right.
Because they're paying you well.
And we appreciate you.
We're very thankful for that. All right. I'm along the same lines. Giants fullback. We haven't used one in a while. Barkley's running style maybe wasn't the best to have one.
Right.
With that flashy type of style. Singletary, Gray. And we haven't seen a ton of Tracy, but still remind me of very A-B gap, downhill, forward running, and then make a guy miss. Like we saw Gray in the preseason. Hit the hole fast, get sudden.
Right.
Up at the second level, and then make a guy miss, which Gray did very well in the preseason. The Boykin thing, like you said, Gunner must be healthy, which we knew that was coming. And again, Gunner's a sight for sore eyes because we've seen already what he could do. His big thing was fumbling, right? When he was at Pittsburgh, they said he fumbled a lot. We haven't seen it. So, we're like, ooh, got a wolf in there. Somebody.
Right. I knocked on wood, so I startled my dog.
I'm like, we got a wolf in there. So the dog, what's the dog's name?
Aries.
So Aries agrees whatever I just said. So, because he was right, but he's like, see, now we had to mute him, and it was part of the show. It was good.
Oh, yeah.
Let him talk.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Aries, talk it up. Tell him what you think.
There you go.
He's like, I can hear my name being said.
He's a smart dog.
Okay. Is it a Spartan Mike wants to know, is it a Mastiff?
No, it's a golden retriever.
Oh, even better. Loyal as can be.
Exactly.
I had 3 growing up. All right. Let's move on to the most bizarre thing that happened in Giant Land this week, because we're always good for one super bizarre story. Josh Jacobs comes out of like some Never Land and creates this I don't know, like this made up story. We all bought into it. And of course, those 20 guys that hate the Giants but say they love the Giants flew off the handle with Shane's a joke, Dable's a piece of crap, this team is garbage. Those cats that we don't really pay much attention to. But there's some smart folks out there too that were like, does this really sound like Shane? So I'm going to, so basically, as you already know, Shawnee, Josh Jacobs, running back, Packers, comes out, says the Giants offered him 4 years, $48 million. However, did not take the deal because of 1, taxes, 2, the media, and 3, the turf.
Yeah.
Let's take this in steps.
Sure.
Let's just say the story is true. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
What are your thoughts on the Giant players that come to New York? Yes, Mark Stewart, fake news, exactly. What's your thoughts on the taxes? I mean, has it ever stopped great players from coming to play here?
No, but people now are taking those things into consideration more, and then especially what their contracts are going to look like. You have to factor that in, right? New York is high in taxes. One of the reasons why I live in Florida, there's no state tax. So
you're also not a professional football player endorsing Dunkin' Donuts.
True. But again, these people are, players today are more savvy when it comes to that. They do think about that. So I can get it. I don't think it stops anybody, but I do think people consider it when they're looking at what they're going to make for the Giants or the Jets or Buffalo.
Yeah, I don't buy into it only because NFL players, if you're not from this area, which most of the people in the chat room and people listening are, right? The amount of opportunity to sign autographs, to do commercials for Toyota and Dunkin' Donuts and Ford,
right,
to endorse restaurants and businesses and the charity work, like, it's New York, man. Like it has so much more to offer than Wisconsin. Okay.
Yeah.
So like, do the taxes come into play? Yes. Right. Let's see. Wait, Bill's got a
he brought up a great point.
Just pointing out a tweet breaking down the tax situation. You probably already. Yeah. And like, again, I'm only offsetting the tax conversation, Bill, with if you're playing in Wisconsin or you're playing in New York, I'm assuming you're going to, if you put the contract side by side, the guy's going to sign autographs for $3,000, $4,000 an hour. And he's going to get a commercial for East Rutherford BMW. He's going to get a free car. I mean, he's going to get $250,000 worth of extra stuff he wouldn't have had that he doesn't get in Wisconsin. So I'm like, it's a yin and yang thing.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Yeah. Number 2, media.
Yeah.
You're in Wisconsin. I don't know. Maybe you've got 10 reporters in the room.
Right.
And all I can say is 2 words. Boo hoo. Like, okay, dude, this is New York. And by the way, New York, if you've never been here, which I'm assuming Josh Jacobs has never been here, is so freaking enormous that it makes much sense to say we got Jersey media, Connecticut media, we've got, Vermont media, we got New York media, we got Staten Island media. Like, I mean, what does he expect?
Yeah. I mean, not everybody's cut out for New York. Now, again, I know we got friends in the media. However, his point is valid. It's not the same when you have media here, the questions, the scrutiny, the negativity, all of that. So I get his point. But again, not everybody's cut out for it. And we want the players that are cut out for it that can handle it. So that tells me something right there, right? So again, valid point. but not somebody we want here if he can't handle that. He's a country boy. Let's be real. I know he played in Vegas, but Josh Jacobs is a country boy. So
I mean, there's some cats though. Like again, like you got to be open to it. We can list a bunch of country boys that have come to play for the Giants, right?
yeah, true.
And done well. I used to say all the time about pitchers. Pitchers would come to the Yankees and they would bomb, right? Whether it was like Clemens ended well, but when he started, it was ugly, or couple of these guys, I'm drawing a blank right now, like just they struggle. Jabba Chamberlain or whatever. Like some guys, you're right, aren't meant.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. I don't like using it as an excuse though. You know what I mean? Like, all right. And then the third one was the turf. And I'm gonna just hand this to you because I'm assuming you and I are on the same page with the turf thing.
Yeah.
So it was replaced 2 years ago, and now it's the same turf as 8 other stadiums.
Yeah, it's the
What's
turf
the
is.
rub?
Yeah, there shouldn't be. That's the problem. People just don't do the research. Like he didn't know. Clearly, didn't pay attention that the turf was replaced, why it was replaced. I get it in the past, it had the stigma behind it, but I mean, again, if it's replaced 2 years ago, you got to know that, and so the turf shouldn't be an issue, So I got a real problem with that point. That just tells me you're not up on things. You don't know what's going on. That's what that says to me.
All right. So if I combine those all together, it's a lie. He didn't. Everything that we've now read says the Giants never offered him a 4-year deal. How does how does something like this even manifest?
Right.
And how bad does it make Josh Jacobs look or his people look?
Yeah.
Because now I feel like maybe Josh Jacobs' people were lying, giving him a bunch of bull crap. You know what I mean? Trying to say, hey, you got a lot of value. It's between the Packers and the Giants. And then Giants are like, we didn't offer him crap.
Well, here's the thing, Greg. To your first part of how does it manifest? It's easy to say Giants or anything Giants right now, and something is going to run. It's going to grow legs. It's going to go. We're an easy target right now to gain clicks and whatever else. My issue is whoever wrote the story didn't fact check to make sure what Josh Jacobs says was accurate. Simple phone call to somebody in the office to say, hey, was an offer actually made to him? Like the desire to be first with a story or put something out there has replaced the desire to be right. And it's easy on Twitter to put something out there and Giants fans are going to run with it because, well, they just want to believe everything's negative at this point. And I did actually put a tweet out, like when it came out, I could care less about the story. I don't care if they offered them. I don't care if they didn't offer it. Like it didn't matter to me. It was non-news. But again, with everything going on, you just mentioned Giants, it's going to grow legs.
I'm wondering if the person who wrote the story was deliberately like knew what was going to happen because it makes Josh Jacobs look stupid. It makes Josh Jacobs representation look stupid. Because now you start saying okay, maybe he didn't have a big market and the representation wanted him to feel like, wow, these two teams are going at it. Which one should you take? So this makes potentially you write the story knowing it's not true, because you're basically trying to make the Giants look good. Like, no, we didn't do that. If that's against our grain, we're not going to offer. We had Saquon Barkley. We're not going to offer you 4 years at 48. Like, it feels to me like the writer was deliberately saying these guys are full of crap.
Yeah, well, and Sparn brought up a good point in the comments. Like he was talked about on Hard Knocks, but he was talked about in Hard Knocks because he was one of the top free agent running backs on the thing. It was never discussed of, hey, we're interested or we want to make an offer. It was, hey, here's the top running backs. Here's what we think their value is. Not, hey, this is a guy we definitely want to have. So, and again, the guy went with it. And then look at how long it took for that reporter to come out and say, no, you know what? This wasn't true. I talked to somebody in league. So I'm putting it more on the reporter of, some people are like, oh, thank you for letting us know now. How about holding them to the fire for putting it out in the first place? Like, when did that stop becoming a thing of like, hey, hey, thanks for giving us the corrected information when you gave us the false information first. Like, I want to hold that person to the fire more than what I'm seeing being held. But again, that's my own little personal thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm just shocked that it feels to me like he believes it. Like he actually believes the Giants made an offer because he's out there saying the Giants offered me 448. Like, so
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and I can't get past the fact that like somewhere he thinks that happened because he wouldn't come out and just make it up. He thinks
Well,
it happened. Someone said it to him. So then
yeah.
you have to go to his agent and think like, dude, why are you snowballing this cat?
Well, here's the thing too, like people get confused on what's an offer, what's not an offer. Like it could have been just like they did with Saquon, like Shane was on the phone doing a soft close or a close with his agent saying, hey, if I give this and this, will he be a Giant? We'll fly him out. We'll sign him. Like maybe something was said to his agent of like, hey, here's what we're thinking. You know, would he look at something like this? And he thought it was an offer. Like, who knows? There's miscommunication somewhere. And I'm not putting it all on Jacobs at this point because he's not involved in that. He's getting it from his agent, like you said. So, you know, I'm not going to fault him for that. If his agent made it seem like, hey, the Giants are interested, here's what they're thinking of offering you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of like leaning on like the agent looks pretty dumb right now. I think if
Right.
I'm Josh Jacobs, I might be second guessing my representation. Like, hey man, how full of crap are you? You know?
Right. Exactly.
Okay, let's keep flying through because I do have some things. Let's see. Spartan Mike says we watch Giants on Hard Knocks. Why is this important, guys? Well, I don't think anybody said it was important, Mark. I think it's revolves around the Giants. So we're discussing Giants news, right? That if it was about deeming things important, then I would be like, well, who gets cut's not important because they're not on the team anymore, right? So we're just talking about Giants news, right? So I don't know if we can be hand picking what to discuss. What happened in Giant land this week, right? And Jacob Johnson got signed. Maybe people don't care. Still Giant news, right? Boykin cut, Giants news. So sorry, Mark, if you don't like it, but I'm just covering what happened in the world of New York Giants football. Guys, if you're new to the podcast, nygiantsrush.com is our home base. You'll find articles up there, interviews up there. Our fantasy football stuff is up there. Our store is up there where you'll find all the new gear. In case you haven't seen it, I mean, there's a ton of different logos and stuff up there, old logos, new logos. So check that out. Sean, let's talk about the big news is quote unquote CB2's in the building. What's your thoughts of Adoree Jackson coming back?
Yeah. So here's what I'll say. And, you know, people remember what I said in the show. I was not big on bringing him back when the offseason happened. I didn't like his lack of what I perceived as a lack of effort last season. I'll say this. He's got two people in the building, and Bowen and Cowden, who know him. He's familiar with. If the Giants are good and they've talked to him about what he can do and if he's going to make this team better, he did mention about like he's willing to do whatever it takes. He's not looking to get guaranteed a starting spot. He'll do special teams. He'll do whatever. So I did like that mindset for him.
Yeah.
So if he's going to help the team become better and he is that vet that everybody was, you know, calling for, hey, we need a vet cornerback, I'm good with it. He's familiar with it. I just want to make sure, you know, what Adoree are we getting? You know what I mean, Craig?
I do know where you're going. I think there's a couple ways to look at it. He's been an interesting corner because, like I said, like he's been kind of like quiet, right? Like he makes a couple plays, but you don't hear a lot. Like you don't people hear raving about him. You don't have many people crushing him to death, right? He's just a nice corner, right?
Yep.
It's a
Yep.
nice corner. His starting days are kind of behind him, right? But he has the experience, as you alluded to. He's got guys in the building that know his game
Yep.
and how to utilize his talents.
And he's not old. He's not old.
No. Well, not by age standpoint, but he's been in the league now for 7-8 years, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it was a Bill who said, you know, do we like it? Are we happy? Like, yeah, I think that Giants fans should be happy that Adoree Jackson is here. Why is he knows New York. He knows what to expect. People, I always used to say this about Eli Manning and his playing streak. It just goes, people don't realize certain things. And we said this earlier about Josh Jacobs. New York is not an easy place to play. It is survival of the fittest. So when Adoree Jackson gets re-signed and comes here, you don't have to worry about him adapting to the city. You don't have to worry about where to live. Like he picks up, for all I know, he may still have an apartment here, right? But he picks up right where he left off. So I'm happy from the standpoint. He's a good locker room guy. Guys like him. Can he be CB2? And my opinion is yes, he can. Because he's done it for a couple of years. He did not have the best of years last year. As Sean alluded to, sometimes it felt like an issue, like a effort issue. Like I'm not tackling that dude, or you know what I mean. I'm a little bit lazy, to the ball, or even like opening up your hips and running with a receiver. He kind of just didn't seem to have that snap.
Yeah,
but hey, Ruthie, what's happening? Cold, Mark.
Ruthie is from the UK, Craig.
Yes, bang. Love that. Welcome to the show, Ruthie. So yes, we are happy about Adoree Jackson. And I guess the best thing is that there's some more competition in the building, Sean.
That's what I was just going to say to you. The competition will make them better. So yeah.
Yeah, because right now, again, for one, you guys know I pounded the table for Banks. He was my guy. And I'm glad he's here. I don't know if he's a CB1 or a CB2, but I did think he had a good year. I think, for a rookie, like, I don't know what people were expecting. If they were expecting, Charles Woodson, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. But I do like that Adoree's back. I think he's a good person to go to in the locker room, right? Because he's done this for quite some time.
Yeah.
But there's competition now. McLeod's game steps up. Flott's game. Flott realizes he just lost the job. So Flott's going to have to literally step up when he's healthy, to be part of this team.
Yeah. And the other thing about Adoree too is that what I like again, and I'm happy about, is he's like, I never closed the door on the Giants. So he knew it was business. Now I'll say this. How injured is Flott? Because they're not talking a lot about it. He's been week to week for a while. He was up there winning the competition. They said it was his job to lose, at one point. So I think it's going to make him better. I think it makes his team better. And again, people flip out about what our corners are like, but it's going to come down to the pass rush and scheming. They're going to play a lot more zone. We don't need guys to play press man and cover guys all over the field. They're going to play a lot of zone and nickel and 3 safeties. So let's keep that in mind.
T says that's Flott is practicing. And by the way, earlier this week, because we had these DB conversation continues to come up because I said, and people just want to just say you're wrong all the time, right? Yeah. So they jump all over you. Like Isaiah Simmons is not a cornerback, guys. He's not a cornerback, never was. So I made a joke that they listed Isaiah Simmons as a corner. And I was like, what? Because he's a safety and he's a linebacker, but they run 3 safety sets, and on first and second down, McFadden is in, then third down. A lot of times McFadden comes off, Isaiah Simmons comes in, and you could say he's playing the slot corner, but in this defense, it's more like a third safety.
Exactly. And they list them as that because it helps with roster manipulation as well. So I wouldn't read much into what he's listed at. He's going to, Bowen said it from day one. We saw it on Hard Knocks. He's going to be the nickel on first and second down, and he's going to be the money backer on third down. Yep. So,
and that
can't be any more clear. Yeah. He can't be any more clear on what he's going to be. So
everybody's like, oh, you're not paying attention. Everybody's saying, I'm paying plenty of attention. I was making a joke that like that's roster manipulation there because because he's not a corner, never played corner, not a corner, not going to play outside.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Like and yes, he can play inside, but they run 3 safety looks. So you want to call him a slot safety? Knock yourself out. You want to call him a slot corner? Knock yourself out. But we know Isaiah Simmons is a linebacker / safety.
Yes, exactly. You just
But
got to
people
listen to
want to
what
be like,
they're
you're
saying.
wrong.
Yeah, I get it. They don't want to believe what the coaches are saying either, even though the coaches have said it repeatedly. So, yeah.
So we're going to see a lot of Simmons, and we're going to see a lot of Adoree Jackson, and we're hoping that he's in shape and ready to go. We're hoping he steps right in there at CB2, and we're all like this. Man, so glad they signed him. Because really, Sean, which I'm going to throw this right back to you, is I saw a lot of people today saying, what's wrong with the Giant talent evaluators? Why are we so thin at corner? I'm like, my response, of course, is we can't fix everything every year. Right? Like there's only so many bodies to go around. Like you tried to fix quarterback, that wasn't going to work. You went and fixed the wide receiver, right? Then you went out there and you fixed the slot corner. And then you went out there and you fixed the safety. And then you go out like, so, you can't fix it all at one time. This isn't like unique to the NFL. The NFL is always adding talent. You cut them, I'll pick them up. That's why I said, Sean, a couple of weeks ago about, somebody was saying, oh, he looked good against the second string and the third string. Those guys go and start for other teams. That's the whole premise, is the guy that gets the third corner for Houston goes and starts for Jacksonville because they're injuries.
Right. Well, and you can't say, in my opinion, you can't say we've had big misses when guys are in year 1, year 2, and year 3. Like it just, people expect, 3rd round picks, 4th round picks to come in and make an impact right away. And that's just not how it works in this league. Like it takes time to develop. So you can't say that everybody's been a miss at this point. And then to the other point is, you don't think other GMs misses? Like you miss more than you hit in this league. Like you really do. So, I mean, the stats, the facts are out there on GM percentage when it comes to draft picks. So, and some of them have missed because they haven't had coaches to develop them, i.e. O-line, right? Like, and the other thing that I'll say too, Craig, is how many times in the past have Giants fans complained about we hold on to guys too long, we wait too long to do something.
Ooh.
Now we're cutting guys, and they're like, oh, why are we cutting them? That means they can't draft them. Like, come on, guys. Like, let's look at it realistically. They realized that somebody was either often injured and wasn't developing, so they brought somebody in better. Like, that's what you should do. You should always be improving the roster. I mean, that's how you get good.
We kept Pert and Lemieux forever. And I was like, how do we keep having Matt Pert and Shane Lemieux on this team?
Right. So you're getting rid of it. And again, let's see what they do. Year 3 for that first draft class. This is when, in my opinion, you can truly evaluate how good they are and what they are.
But this is the issue, though. Nobody's like Mark saying how desperate. Like, so that would mean every team is desperate. I mean, every team in the NFL who signs a player is desperate. Like, I don't think teams are desperate. I'll tell you what desperate is. Remember, I don't know, 8-9 years ago, the Giants only had 2 safeties in camp. Both safeties got hurt, and they had to go sign Aaron Rouse and CC, whatever his name, CC Brown. Yep. Can't cover Brown, they called him. CC Brown and Aaron Rouse, who were both out of the NFL. Like they were bagging groceries at ShopRite. Like that was like desperate for safeties. Like, I mean, you're definitely can't fix everything at once. You're definitely, wanted Flott to be the guy, right?
Yep.
And he got hurt. And McLeod, definitely out kicking his coverage and playing as best as you can get. But I don't like panic and desperate because we can do this exact same scenario with every team in the NFL. The NFL signing people all the time looking for bodies.
Yeah. and they wait sometimes, so you get a different type of contract from a veteran and all that. And Dable came out today and said, they've been talking about signing Adoree for like the last week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yep.
So I wouldn't take that as desperation when you're talking about it for a week and a half, 2 weeks. That's my opinion. And again, even if they were, so what? They made the team better, and that's what they want to do. Do you want them not to sign somebody and be like, all right, we're
Yeah.
just going to go as is? Like,
Great point.
you should
Great
be
point.
excited about the team. They're constantly trying to get better. They traded for Simmons 2 seasons ago or whatever it was, late, right before, what it was, a week before the season started. They traded for him. Like,
Yep.
this is what should be happening. You want GMs to do that. I don't know.
Yeah. You got to call it desperation when you sign 10 corners before him. 10 corners? Have we signed 10 cornerbacks?
We signed a lot, but some were, again, you
they're
have the
camp bodies.
competition. They signed, yeah, exactly. They signed a lot of O linemen and they let O linemen go as well. So,
yeah, those are camp bodies. Like we just need to be realistic. Like when they sign guys, they're there to practice to make the other guys better. They're never going to make the team. Like they're literally camp bodies. Like their job is come in, maybe make the practice squad. You are
right.
here to practice and make those guys better.
Yeah. And Mark, you're good. We know that. It's not, what you're saying. It's just a bigger, picture with things as well. So yeah, it's not.
Oh yeah, it's not you, Mark. It's all week long about how the Giants are the only team that are desperately signing these older players with no talent. And I'm like, this happens every day across the NFL. That's the GM's job.
Yeah. And goofballs bring up a good point. And I'm going to say this. And again, we have to stop taking the New York media as they know everything. And what I like about this is our media doesn't know anything anymore. And that's good. They just give opinions. They don't know if they do or don't want somebody back, who they're interested in. Like, we should be excited about that. How many times in the past have we had leaks and players were of interest and we didn't get those guys and this, that, and the other thing? Like, nobody knows. None of our beat. And again, this is nothing negative on our beat people, because again, we have friends of the show,
we're friendly
but
with
they don't know anything, and it's fine that they don't know anything. We can't look to them as being the end all be all of sources and information. I don't want them to know things. They didn't even know Adoree was in the building, but now we're supposed to believe that they know if they wanted him back or not. Come on. Like, it makes zero sense to me, Craig. Zero sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, and Mark's got a good point again. And yeah, it's all good. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
He's saying, he says, I've heard from several I talked to the same. They eventually had no choice but bring it back. I just disagree. I just, we'll agree respectfully. We'll agree to disagree. Like the team, every team, not just the Giants, are signing people. The Ravens just signed. Was it the Ravens? Where did Ward go? Hang on, let me look it up.
The Falcons signed Simmons late, like a week or two ago, right? They just had Gilmore was signed, a week or two ago.
Yeah, I'm looking for Jaha Ward, where he went. Because they
was it the Raiders, Bill?
Vikings. So the
Yeah.
Vikings just signed 2 ex-Giants. Like just this is how the NFL works. Guys get hurt, you need to fill the void, right? If you have to go outside and sign a guy, that's what they do. And we're making it like the New York Giants are the only team that does this. And I'm just saying, like, look, Flock got hurt. He wasn't having a great camp. McLeod is a nice fill-in, but was never supposed to be a starter, right?
Yeah.
And
they, listen, they probably didn't want him back at the end of the season. That's why I didn't sign him as early as they did. Who knows what other things were going on? But again, you made the move. He wanted to be back. He didn't take it personally. He didn't close the door. Like, that's what you want. Like, the Giants are doing things the right ways when it comes to players, right? They're not burning bridges with players. So again, that to me is a good thing, but to your point again, Craig, like the signing late thing, people are just overreacting. Like we need the season to start and we need wins to start happening because there's just way too much downtime that,
Yeah.
you
Mark,
know,
Mark, Mark does. This is an interesting topic. I don't know if we'll have time to cover it today about comparing the roster. Let's see. I think the Giants have a better roster than 22 and 23. Hands down, a better roster. Like we can go through all 53 players, Mark, and they are better, right? I mean, you have a more well-rounded wide receiver room. Okay, we know what I mean. Like it's not Richie James, right? And Slayton anymore, right? I mean, Malik Neighbors could be offensive player of the year for all we know, right? Like Hyatt's got all this talent ready to go. We've seen Wan'Dale Robinson, what he can do, and how other players talk about how highly they talk of Wan'Dale Robinson, right? And then the running back room, like yes, we had Barkley. Barkley was hurt in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or was that 21?
21.
Okay. So, yes, the running back room combined, we'll have to see what we get, but the O-line is dramatically better. Every position is better.
Top to
Right?
bottom. Yeah.
Top to bottom. And the defense by far, yes, I wasn't a big McKinney fan. I got turned off when the accident happened just because I don't know, it's just me. But we'll see what happens with our safety position, but I think our linebackers are better. Our edge is better. I definitely think that this is a better well-rounded team. I mean, Jones is just Jones. He's a polarizing cat. Nobody knows if he's going to be better or not, but
right.
Yeah, I think the roster's way better.
Yeah. Well, and listen, and I've said this a number of times, Craig. Like when the season starts, I'm going to be the first one to criticize poor play or poor decisions in games or anything like that. Like off-season Joker is different than in-season Joker, right? So again, you have to have optimism, in my opinion. But again, if you're not blinded by the fact of the Jones enigma, then you can see that this roster has improved. And again, back to the original point, top to bottom, this roster is absolutely better than it was the last 2 years. I mean, again, you bring in Burns, you get Malik Neighbors. I know he's a rookie, but you don't think he's going to make an impact right away? Like you literally, again, look top to bottom, and that's what you need. You need like this roster when Shane and Dabes took over was so bad, so bad.
So bad.
They were like, it was ridiculously bad. And every single year they have improved this roster, like again, top to bottom. You need your bottom guys to be better each and every year because that's how you get better as a team. So I don't know how anybody can look at this roster and be like, this roster's terrible. Like that, I don't get.
I mean, look, I just watched Drew Phillips play in preseason, and I'm like, I think that's the guy I'm most excited for. I'm like, because he's a homegrown guy, and I'm like, man, this kid scraps, right? Like that's really cool, and we hope Nubin works out, right? And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, I mean, you're getting a healthy Bellinger where he doesn't have to block. It's like I don't know, Jess. Yes, they are better. They are better.
Yeah.
What's Cole? Oh, Cole's got a long.
He does. And listen, cornerback room is a concern. But again, if you look at Bowen and what he's done, he didn't have big names playing cornerback for them with the the Titans, right? Like, again, so it's a concern, but it's going to be schematic in my opinion, because again, he didn't go with big names when it comes to that. So again, we'll see. I mean, they may not play well, but again, if they're not playing a lot of man or press man like they did in Wink's defense, then I think it's going to be a lot different. And I also think, Craig, I'll ask your take on this. I'm wondering how much of Adoree last year had to do with Wink as well. Like, because there was some players that were disgruntled over Wink. So how much do you think that played into Adoree's? Because, if you don't like playing for a coach, you don't believe in a coach, that can impact your effort. So do you think that played a role in kind of what we saw from him last season?
It's hard to say because he's a really kind of quiet guy. He's never really in the media. You don't get anything from him. He's not a guy like when you see at the podium, you can read his face, right? Yeah. Or you're like of all these years, I've only seen Dexter Lawrence mad one time. You know what I
Right.
mean? Him be like, guys, you need, he was stinking up for somebody, and he was like, like Jackson he's kind of a happy cat. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so you don't get a lot from him. So it's really hard to get a read on him. I mean, from a success standpoint, I thought he had a decent year when he got here.
Oh yeah, he's played well. Yeah, absolutely.
I was happy when he came
Yep.
originally. Again, like me personally, I don't like the safety wearing the dot. I don't like, you know what I mean? I never understood that about Wink's defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like you got, and you got McKinney, he's hurt, and McKinney started off really slow last year. Like the first 4 games, you were like, where is this guy? Right.
Right.
And
Right.
then he caught on, had a great second half. So like maybe that was it. Maybe like McKinney wasn't happy. Maybe Adoree wasn't happy because, like I said, McKinney wasn't playing up to where he normally plays. So love him or hate him, the guy can play football.
Yeah.
So you got to ask yourself, okay, if McKinney's having an off year or starting slow, I mean, listen, Okereke started slow,
Yeah.
right? The first 3 games, you were like, I remember saying, I don't think this guy's right.
Yeah.
Like because he looked lost and
Yeah.
then something clicked. So yes, there could be something schematically that had Adoree Jackson, Mackenzie,
McKinney.
McKinney, and Bobby Okereke out of sync.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, those 3 guys, none of them looked like themselves in the beginning of last year.
No. And that's what I want to see from the secondary when you talk about concern is, are they all going to communicate with each other? Can they play their zones the right way? Are they going to be in the right spots? Like that's what's important. And Bowen has talked about that he's going to make it, simplistic for them as he can. So you want guys playing fast and free. And I don't think we had that. Now, again, they did a lot of great things with turnovers, but they also had a lot of wide open guys at times. They had a lot of yards that they gave up. So it's going to be interesting to see what our pass rush can do. And if you have a strong pass rush, that will overcome any concerns we have with the secondary. It'll make the secondary look better. Wink had a different philosophy of, I'm going to put pressure, I'm going to put blitz, and that's where I'm going to get the pressure, and that's going to take care of things. So again, just a different philosophy.
I mean, listen, if you want to know what I am concerned, like Cold is saying that, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a concern. No, I'm right with you. It is a concern.
Sure.
I'm also concerned about the defensive tackles. Like, they're not very special outside of Dexter, and you're hoping on a 7th round pick from Oregon, Riley, to be like a diamond in the rough. Can he be? Heck yeah. But like, you're really saying, when you look at it, you're saying, okay, Bowen wants to rush the passer. Okay. You went out and got Burns. Good. Burns should make Thibodeau better. Makes sense.
Yep.
Year number 2 with McFadden and Okereke playing next to each other. That was good last year. There's no reason to think it won't be great this year.
Yep.
Banks in year number 2. Pinnock in year number 2 or 3. Wait. Pinnock 3?
Yeah, I think they got him first year. From
the Jets, right?
Yep.
So there's something to be encouraged about from the New York Giants defense. It's not the biggest thing, of course, is going to be cornerback play and then defensive tackles. Is there enough guys there to give Dexter a blow? And when those guys are in, can they make any impact? Like, believe it or not, and this is just me, I'm an eye test guy, and I know people spend too much time, but I just really liked Leonard Williams. Like, in hindsight, when I look back, Leonard Williams and Dexter just were a really good team, tandem, excuse me. So I wish we could find the next Leonard, young Leonard. And maybe Riley's the guy.
Or Chapman.
Nacho step up. Yeah, listen. We love Nacho, right? He's the one out there touting, hey, listen to Giants Rush on Monday night. I think Nacho's got some actually a pretty good motor, right? And then of course, and Bill and Cold are both right that maybe there's Chapman surprises you, right? Like But overall, I think Nacho is going to be the guy. I don't know. What's your thought? Like, do you have high hopes for Nacho?
I mean, I think he can be decent, and that's really what we need next to, when you're next to Dexter and Burns and Tibbs, right? Like, I have a lot of faith in Andre Patterson. That guy just develops, D lineman, and he's also now working with the edges. So that's a huge get for me. But I think Riley can take a step up and be decent. And I do think you give me a high motor guy at any time, he's gonna do well. So I know he's an undrafted free agent, but I'm very high on Chapman. He may prove me wrong, but
No, well,
you know what I mean?
he'll be
Like,
fun to watch. How about that?
yeah, he's gonna give you effort, and that's what we want to see. That's what Giants are built on, right? Like that's what they're all about: motor and effort and defense and all that. So I I know they say D line is a problem with depth, but I think there's more than people realize. But again, corner will be an issue. I understand that. There is a lack of depth there, even with the Adoree signing. Will Trey Hawkins step up and be better in his own philosophy rather than press man like he was at Wink? Like, was he over? Was his mind blown with all the things he had to figure out? Because Wink's defense is very complicated. Will he now just be a natural athlete? And again, he stood out in the preseason because it's very vanilla, right? So he was just playing, last year. I mean, he was just playing normal defense. So maybe we'll get a little bit more out of him this year. Who knows? Like, a lot of question marks for sure. But again, I think the other areas will overcome that.
And Cold's is spot on. Like, we really have only good things to say about Brian Burns.
Yeah.
Like he seems like he steps in and becomes the leader with Okereke. He's gonna make KT play better. I mean, we've talked about this numerous times. The story I tell about Chad Bratsky, nobody's heard of him. He comes in and he's got such a high motor that he's freeing up Strahan because all of a sudden this cat's all of a sudden a handful. And then Tollefson was the same way. Tollefson would come in and they'd be like, Dave, go get me a sack, will you? And Dave would go in there and just motor through guys. Yep. So if Burns can produce that type of motor, KT should have a great year too.
And he's going to bring a mindset that we haven't had in a while. And that's what I like to see. Like, he's not going to like losing. He's not going to like, mediocrity. He's going to come in. Man, that spin move he did, I
was like, oh my God, it's Dwight Freeney.
Exactly. I was just going to say, tell me that's not Dwight Freeney-esque right there. Like,
yeah, I literally saw it and I was like, okay, who's he been talking to?
Right. And even if he gets doubled, it's going to free Tibbs up. Like, Burns hasn't had a guy like Tibbs next to him either. It's been the Burns show, when he was in Carolina. So there's things to be excited about. And we don't need every player to be a star. We just need guys that can play their role and not play bad. Like, that's the key. Have your stars be stars and the other guys not be bad. That's what you want.
And like, I'm like, I want to like Tibbs a lot because I'm just like, well, we know all the talents there, right? But it's not just about the sacks. You know what I mean? Like, if he had 12 sacks every year, but he had 70 tackles, I'd be stoked. You know what I mean? Like, I want a guy that plays like Carl Banks. Again, tall order. I get it. Don't everybody go crazy. But I want a guy that can play in space, a guy that can rush the quarterback when he's asked to, right? I
think you get that from Bowen. I know.
That's funny. All right, I gotta put this up. I think that's funny.
I think you'll get that from Tibbs this year because, again, he played for a D coordinator that doesn't value edge players. Like, I think he had like the third highest sack total of all of Wink's edge rushers. So, yeah.
I just think that's funny. I'm still side-eyeing Tibbs. I'm kind of doing the same thing, man. I'm just like, man, I'm like, look, you just got a bona fide double-digit sack guy on the other side of you. Every year, this cat's getting 9, 10, 11, 12 sacks every year. And he's got a good motor. That should free me up a little bit, right? So
he's bigger this year, too. Tibbs is bigger. He put on weight.
Yeah, he should be stronger. He definitely should be stronger because trying to bull rush at the weight he was at, or at least the strength, even if he's the same weight. Yeah, he did struggle a little bit with, getting up and into some of those tackles and being able to, shed it and scrape through. So again, I'm okay if Tibbs doesn't have 15 sacks. I want him to just play the run. I want him to track cats down from the backside.
Yeah. I think he will again because you have a D coordinator now that is going to say, "Hey, be aggressive, go after it. It's on you guys. It's on the front four to do that."
Yeah.
So I'm expecting him to. I'm expecting us to see a different Tibbs this year.
All
More
right,
aggressive.
let's unpack the heavy part
Oh
of the
boy.
show.
Ugh.
Yeah, because I'm like I don't really know what to do with this. I was kind of shocked a little bit. So if you are a New York Giants fan and you follow New York media at any level, there are some really good beat writers that we've become friends with. As Sean just said, we don't really know how much access they have. Right. But I'm going to read off their names, Sean, and
Okay.
we're going to talk about their predictions for the 2024 season. Right. So we got Tiki Barber. We know he's on WFAN. We know
Yep.
Clem here. We're personally friends with Clem from Barstool. We have Art Stapleton. He's, you guys know him well. We have Patty Trainer. We've had her on. Jordan Renan from ESPN, Marash from FAN, Dugan. Zach, by the way, I don't know if Zach is back covering the Giants because I know Zach got moved out to the Jets for a while, but
Yep.
he's got some predictions. And then of course Dunleavy, who we have on a couple times a year. So that, Sean, is 10 guys.
Yeah.
My question is just so we can play a little game because you may already know this. Have
Yep.
you looked at their predictions yet?
I have. I saw it earlier on Twitter. So yes,
right.
I have seen it.
And Cole, we love Tino too. He wasn't on this list, so we'll have to get Paul in the house. Next week, I actually asked Anthony. Hang on, I asked Anthony from is it Fireside? Hang on.
Oh, Rivardo.
Yeah, I asked him to join us, so he's going to pop on and talk a little football with us.
Nice.
Ant's always cool. I'm always trying to help his golf game out with Truth. So he'll be on next week, Anthony, to talk some some Giants football. So you guys will have Anthony on next week. But all right, let's start at the bottom. Ryan Dunleavy predicted the New York Giants to be 5-12. Your thoughts?
I don't see it at 5-12. So, and he's not the only one that has it low win total, but which also makes sense of why Giants Twitter is freaking out. But no, I don't see it at 5 wins. I mean, we won 6 games last year with 3 different quarterbacks and a historically bad O-line. So I don't know how you can say 5 wins when the team's gotten better. But that's just me.
Lock and step with you there. Zach Rosenblatt, who we know, again, we used to have Zach on a couple times a year before he moved to cover another team. Zach also is looking at a 5-12 season.
Yep.
I just don't see it because the Giants won 6 games down the stretch with, as you just alluded to, a bad O-line, a third string quarterback, a average wide receiver core, and a defense that didn't scare anybody. I can't. I mean, 5 wins would just be, I think, a colossal breakdown.
Yeah, I mean, everything would have to go bad or wrong, in my opinion, for that to happen. And I don't know.
So at 10, Ryan Dunleavy is 5-12. At number 9, Zach Rosenblatt is at 5-12. At number 8 is Dan Dugan.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if Dan is just a naysayer or he just doesn't see it either. Shawnee Dugan has the Giants coming in at 6-11.
I mean, at least they gave them as many wins as they had last year. So, there's that. But I mean, I think that's the floor. I don't predict them losing 6. I mean, just winning 6. Again, I think people are looking at it. We lost Barkley, and there's zero confidence in their minds in Daniel Jones. So I think that's where they're coming up with this win total. So I definitely see more than 6.
Yeah, I was shocked that Dugan went that route.
I'm not.
Number 7 on this list, another good friend of the show, Sean Marash from WFAM, has them at 7-10. So he has them winning one more game. I personally just can't see them only being one game better with all the pieces they have. I feel like Malik Neighbors is like, he's good for 3 wins by himself.
Yeah. Again, there's zero confidence in the quarterback right now, Craig. That's what it comes down to. Zero confidence. And understandable. I get it.
Yeah, I just didn't think Marash, who's a die-hard Giant fan, would think that's where they were going, you know?
Yeah.
Number 6 on this list, again, friend of the show. Marash and Jordan's interviews are on Giants Rush YouTube channel if you guys want to check that out. Jordan has the team at 7-10, same as Marash.
Yeah, Craig, I think the other thing too is people are looking at the strength of schedule and saying it's a harder schedule than we had last year. I had this conversation earlier too. Don't look at what the win totals were last year. Look at the team when you're looking at our schedule. So I think a lot of people are looking at that and be like, oh, it's a harder schedule this year. So, that's going to factor in. It's really not when you break it down game by game, team by team from last year to this year. So I think that's factoring in. But again, we already know I don't think they're going to win just 7 games.
All right. So that's Jordan, Marash, Dugan, Zach, and Ryan. Now we get to the other half. We've crossed over the midway point. Patty Trainer. We've had Patty on. Patty's a lot of fun. She's very knowledgeable. She's around the team all the time. Patty has them at 8-9, which, by the way, that's where I'm settling in also as an 8-win team. If everything went perfect, a 9-win team, but nothing in Giant Land ever goes perfect. So I'm at the 8-9 part. What's your thought about Patty's prediction?
I mean, I like that prediction better. I think that's a reasonable prediction. I'm a little bit better than that. But I think that's a fair prediction.
At 8-9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I totally wholeheartedly agree that 8 wins, and I'm like, okay, we are making improvements each and every year, headed in the right direction. Might not be the exact outcome you went, but these jackasses in the NFL thought we needed 17 games. So that's
Right.
what you get. Yeah. Moving up the ladder to Art Stapleton. He also has them at 8-9. We don't know Art very well, but Art's around the team a lot. He knows this team, like the back of his hand. He's got a good feeling. Art has him at 8-9.
Yeah, Art's pretty fair. I mean, from my paying attention to Art, I followed him for a while. He's usually pretty fair when it comes to critiquing the Giants. So I'll give him that. Again, I think it's reasonable 8-9 record.
Okay. And then, of course, this is where it gets interesting. Maybe a little bit of being a homer, kind of blinding a little bit. Clem from Barstool. Again, we've had Clem on a couple times. Clem has him at 9-8. And then at the top of the food chain, it's Tiki Barber with them at 9-8. And again, nothing wild here. Like nobody here is taking this like I think 5-12 out of Zach and Ryan feels way off base, like way off base.
Yeah.
But I don't feel anybody's homered out saying this team is winning 10, 11 games because, you can get that too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where I have them. I have them at 9-8. I think I could see 10 wins as the ceiling, but I had them realistically around. Yeah, I think I had them at 9-8 is how I see it. So I'm in line with Clem and Tiki.
Sorry.
Woo!
I was like,
I'm not that boring, am I?
No. All of a sudden,
I turn it up, bring more energy. Like what? Let's go.
No,
All right.
My office is really hot. I'm like, oh. Man, like a 9-8 season would be like so cool, right? Because at 9-8, you're gonna do something ballsy in the Cole says old ass Craig. Thanks, Cole. At 9-8, you need to get over the hump, right? Yeah. So I like a 9-8 team to do something ballsy in the off season, like a big free agent signing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because remember, let's we started the show off with, Josh Jacobs whining and crying, and talking about, the media and the taxes and the turf and stuff. If we want to give any credence to that, because I'm sure there are plenty of you that do. Well, if you win 9 games, people want to play for you.
Yeah.
People are going to look and be like, you know what? I want to play for Bone. I want to
Right.
play for Dave's. I want to play for Shane. It looks like a cool place to play. And they got pieces, because the pieces are Dexter Lawrence, right? Bobby Okereke, Burns,
Andrew
Tim,
Andrew Thomas.
Andrew Thomas. Yeah. Like, Malik Neighbors, Hyatt's definitely, is a little bit of a work in progress, but point is, there's pieces.
Yeah.
People don't realize how bad it was before Shane got here. We just dismiss it all the time. We kicked the can down the road so many times. We just had a ton of bad contracts and dead money. So if they can win 9 games, that puts me in the frame of mind like, what are you doing to get to the NFC Championship? What are you doing at 9-8 that gets you to 12 wins?
Yeah.
And the only thing that is, you're going to draft smart, but you're going to have to bring in one badass dude.
Yeah. Well, and plus you have some players coming off the books at the end of this year too that'll free up more cap room for them. Like Leonard Williams comes off the books at the end of this year. I think somebody else does as well. So yeah, I agree with you. Like if you go 9 wins, you make it to the playoffs, you do something, you're like, all right, if we add this piece, this can put us over the top. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, Cole just gave me a compliment, so I'm going to put it on a screen because
Oh
it's
yeah, you got to
rare,
do it. Yeah.
very rare that I get a comment. But you
Yeah.
better be careful. He'll start shooting arrows at you too, right? Because he's got that bow ready to go. Says, good point for once, Craig. People forget about the mess that he inherited. Like, heck yeah, man. Like, listen, we could talk all day about it, but oh my God, it was this ugly. I mean, we kicking the can down the road on players and so many guys on the books, and you're left with a god awful offensive line.
Yeah.
God awful, and a wide receiver room that was built off of like the hangover from Odell Beckham, right? So just so many damn holes to fill. So I like where they're going. Man, if they won 9 freaking games, I'd be pumped, because I would be like, okay, what's next?
Yeah, I agree. But, if they make the playoffs, they can do what they can do. You're going to have people that are going to want more. You're going to have people who are going to look at what the stats are for the quarterback. Like, I'm going to continue to say this. I've been consistent. I will stay consistent. I just want wins. I don't need the quarterback to throw for 4,000, 4,500 yards all the time. Like, I don't need that. Would it be nice? Absolutely. But if he can throw for 3,800 yards, 3,900 yards, and we win games, that's fine by me. Like, that's all I want. I want wins. I don't care how we get the wins. I just want friggin' wins, man. I just want wins.
Look,
4 years of Shermer and Judge was enough. Enough.
And you know
Right?
what?
Like, God bless.
There's like 10 guys out there, Sean, 10 guys that if we could clip those dudes, put them on a boat and send them out to sea somewhere, the environment would be much different. I mean, like, there's just guys that kill Twitter. They're calling in the radio shows. They're making fun of Carl Banks. Like, there's some cats out there that have just no class. They don't understand. Like, same thing. Listen, we all want Jones to do well. We also really want a young, dynamic quarterback.
Yes.
But if this team wins 9 freaking games, like, everything tells you that they're going in the right direction. If they win 5 or 6 games, you're literally saying, I am going to get a quarterback hell or high water. If this team wins 5 or 6 games, you're going out there and you're signing, whatever, Tannehill, right? You're going out there and you're signing a quarterback or trading for a quarterback. Like, you're making major changes, or you're moving down again. I try, I made a joke today about Sanders, because you know how I feel about the Sanders thing. It's not about Shador. It's about the baggage that Dion brings with him. But there's guys out there throwing for a lot of touchdown passes. So there's other options out there. They're going to have to make a big move if they win 5 or 6 games. But if they win 8 games or 9 games, you're saying, okay, this defense is humming, right?
Yeah.
Malik Neighbors is a dog. Burns has got 14 sacks. You're like this. Okay, we're cooking with some pieces now.
Yep.
And you're all looking at one position.
Yep.
And there's no excuses. They're going to have to go like, and I don't even know who the free agents are next year, but they're going to have to go and bring a free agent in. Because if you win, again, if you're at 8 wins, 9 wins, right? You're not low enough in the draft to get whoever your quarterback is. Like, I like the Dart kid. I like,
or maybe Craig, if they're looking at that and Jones doesn't play where they want him to play and they still win 9 games, then you look at it's worth it to trade your pieces because the roster's in the better spot now. You can give up draft capital. You can look to move up, in the draft to get a quarterback. Maybe they roll the dice with that. So it gives them options.
I'm cracking up. The fantasy football draft is live for Rush for the Ballers League. And Bill says, draft's live. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just auto picked the first 3 picks.
You might be better off, Bill. I had a guy in the league last year that auto drafted and he did well. So you might be all right, man. That might be better for you since you never played before. So
and
don't worry.
Every league's a little different. Sometimes they're QB heavy, sometimes they're wide receiver heavy, right?
Yeah.
I actually was on the way to the beach yesterday, and I did my son's in the back seat, and he's doing his fantasy football with his high school buddies. And we're going back and forth, looking stuff up on the phone. Like I'm like, wait, you can double dip, get Metcalf and Kelsey. I'm like, do it. So you'll be fine, Bill. Have some fun. So what's your overall prediction? Since we've just looked at, Tiki and Clem have them at 9 and 8. Where are you at?
I think I'm at 9 and 8. I could see 10 and 7 potentially too, but I'm sticking firm at 9 and 8. But wouldn't be surprised if they went 10 and 7.
I'll put out something tomorrow if I can get everybody's prediction. I'll put something out for each team member, and I'll fire it out on Instagram and Twitter just so everybody can have receipts on what we said is going to happen, because you know how people love receipts. All right, Waddle's good, man. Waddle's good. Got to
they're going to throw it there, so that's good.
A healthy Tua, right?
Yeah, and listen, you make predictions. You're going to be wrong at times, but you got to be in it to have a shot, right? So I don't care. Come with the receipts. Yeah,
exactly. I'm on record going with the 8 and 9. So you got me by 1 game. Hey, folks, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Again, I always beg you guys to just subscribe to the YouTube channel or tell your friends to subscribe to it. It helps us out because the better we do over there, the more flexibility we have what we do on the show. So, fantasy football drafts live. I'm hoping you guys, I hear you, Cole. I'm hoping for 9 and 8, but you guys have always been really good to us. So thanks for hanging out. I have to get the Twitter fired back up. Bill sent me a big stack of cash to go get that live. So I got to do that. Now that summer is kind of winding down, some extra time.
Craig, what's great? I'm going to interrupt real quick. What's great? Next Monday, dude, we get to talk actual football. Yeah. No more Giants news. No more. We talk game. We talk games. We talk games, Craig.
Which is a great segue to the Wednesday show, which is Rush Hour, is our preview show. So if you're a Giants junkie and you actually, hang out with us here on Monday or not, but somebody that loves the preview stuff, Chris and Truth are going to be doing the preview show on Wednesday. So if you guys want to hop on with them and see what they're talking about, they'll be talking about who's hurt, who's not hurt, what the team coming up. Like they'll be ripping apart Minnesota on Wednesday. And then next Monday, what are we doing? Boom, we're recapping the win over the Vikings.
Zach, I can't wait to talk football, dude.
Oh, Cole, that hurts my feelings right there. That's tough. You guys are very good to us. Appreciate it. And then of course we're going to be at the game. We'll have some tailgates going on. We'll be out there. Some prizes for the fantasy football. I am shocked that more of you guys didn't sign up. just to be honest. I thought you guys would. We were trying to get 2 leagues going, and we got like half you guys. But we got to put some blame on Spartan Mike because he mangled it up. So he mangled it. So
put blame on me. People were scared to go against me. You know, they didn't think they could beat me, so they didn't want to sign up. You know,
I
that's
think
what it came down to.
I think people are cheap, and all those guys that said they were going to pay did not pay. You know, they needed to pay their phone bill, so they did not pay the $25. Anyway, we'll be back here next Monday, same time. We have no idea where Alex's is, so we hope Alex is okay. We will look into where he went. And next week at this time, we'll be recapping the Vikings game, hoping for the fact that Sam Darnold got sacked 5 times. And, you know, Singletary busted out a 100-yard game. And, oh, by the way, number 1, Malik Neighbors had 2 touchdown, 110-yard receiving day, right? Something like that.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Anything that you want to throw in before we cut out?
No, again, just excited about Giants play football, real football on Sunday. So let's go, G-Men.
Yeah, man. I always love the fact when we start using the real playbook and you're like, oh, I told you they weren't going to show you that. Right. You're like, yeah. And yeah, you're so right, Cole. Damn mush messed it all up. Damn millennials. All right. We fixed it. We're good. We'll have 1 league, not 2. It's 25, not 50. So you guys can play throughout the year, have some fun. Got a grand prize already sitting in the closet, just getting ready to go. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Right. Bang, bang. Thanks for hanging out with us. Peace out.